Hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Anaito Onesimus, a teacher of economics, and in this video we are going to look at the economics revision and passing tips. As we all know that economics has got two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, whereby paper 1 is a theory paper and then paper 2 is an applied paper that requires understanding and application of the basic concepts. When you look at the sections A and B, section A is compulsory, and then section B is made up of 6 essay questions, whereby a candidate is required to attempt only 4 questions. Note that all economics chapters can be set in both papers, that is 1 and 2. So what matters here is to master the difference in the questioning technique. When you look at the neutral and biased questions of the papers, neutral questions, they require neutral points, such as give factors that influence demand. So the points that we need here, they are price of a commodity, level of consumers' income, which are not biased. So when it comes to biased questions here, such as factors that influence an increase or decrease of demand, the points that we require there are low levels of consumers' income, high levels of consumers' income. When it comes to questions involving use of tense, so the candidate must know that the question in which the tense it is set dictates the tense to be used while answering. So as you're going to see some of the examples there in that video. So when it comes to opinion seeking questions, so these are sometimes referred to as suggestive questions, and these questions, they require qualifiers like should, can, or may. So for example, like we have what measures that should be taken to correct the unfavorable terms of trade. So here, while answering, a candidate should take keen of the qualifiers should, can, or may. When it comes to conditional questions, so these are sometimes referred to as circumstantial questions, and these questions, they require qualifiers like where, when, if, and in case. For example, question like under what circumstances may inflation be desirable? Under what circumstances may workers demand for higher wages? So while answering, the candidate must take care of the qualifiers like we've seen in that video, whereby someone answered like where inflation encourages investment. So when it comes to accounting questions, so these questions, they call for the causes or reasons of the economic concept in question. For example, account for the price instability of agricultural products in Uganda. It needs the causes of fluctuation of prices of agricultural prices. Impact or implication questions, so these, they require positive or negative implications depending on the question set. For example, when they say what are the implications of economic dependence, so this question requires the negative implications of the economic dependence, as we all know that economic dependence has only got negative implications. The same thing applies to unemployment. Factors affecting or determining or influencing, so these are neutral questions that require two-sided explanation. So you have to know that a candidate should not use conditional statements while explaining the points. So conditional statements, they bear the likes of will, shall, if. So a candidate is prohibited in using such kind of statements. Rather, he or she should use stands like availability of, degree of, level of, etc. So when it comes to limiting questions, so state the biased or one side of the factor that show the limitation is the one that is needed. For instance, factors that limit the pace of industrial development in Uganda. Here you have to talk about political instabilities, limited labor skills, poor land tenure system, etc. So here a candidate must take keen of the tense. We must use present tense or now tense while explaining our points. Objective reasons for, why, justify, rational questions, so they require the phrasing of such a kind: to, in order to, so as to, for the purpose of. So when it comes to questions that ask for the roles, for example, what or explain the role of taxation, here we have to consider the positive roles only. What if the question is assess the role or examine the role? Here we consider both positive and negative, and while we are presenting them in present tense or present continuous tense. Questions on market structures here. So candidate must be able to identify that the MC and AC are U-shaped. MC and cuts AC at its lowest point. We all know that profits are maximized where MC is equal to MR, and the following as we have in your notes. Theories. When it comes to theories, to what extent is the Malthusian theory of population relevant? So here a candidate must show extent or the standpoint while answering. What if the question is examine or discuss or assess the relevancies? So here a candidate must give both positive and negative points. Explain the relevancies, give only positive relevancies. Explain the factors that limit, only limitations are required. So when it comes to calculations, state the formula, do the correct substitution, carry out the calculation. Note, carry all the steps to obtain the marks or the full marks. And also note that do correct spellings to avoid loss of marks. So thanks for watching. I remain Alenejo Onesimus, a teacher of economics. So for more videos and more notes, please use my Airtel line. It's the one which is on WhatsApp to get more notes of economics. Thanks for watching.